Rahab had a bad reputation. The worst, a prostitute. She was not even a religious prostitute. In her pagan culture, that at least would have given her some measure of respect. Her existence on the fringe of a famous city would be changed by a life or death choice that would give her a place in the plan of God to send hope to the entire world. Rahab sewed cloth and did anything she could to survive. News had spread about an invading tribe. This tribe served an invisible God with no images to worship. This God had led his people to conquer the kings of the other side of the river. Despite being the strongest city in the region, the best fortified, and a key point of defense for the entire land, Rahab's people were afraid. At the city gates, Rahab hoped she would find some kind of customers. Instead, she found strangers. She realized they were from the desert tribe, spies. She believed their God would give them the land, and she took them to her home. The men were interested in the city walls where she lived. The king's informers knew about the spies and came looking. "Open the door in the name of the king!" Rahab, acting on instinct, perhaps from having hidden other men for other reasons, hid the spies. She chose this God even before she learned more about him. Her belief in this God caused her to take action. It was risky. Her own people could kill her, but she knew this was different and real. She told the king's soldiers that the spies had come to her house, but then left the city. She told the soldiers, "Go look for the spies on the road." They finally rushed off. The city gate was barred behind the searchers, and the men on Rahab's roof had no escape. Rahab had acted on her feelings that theirs was the true God. Now what would happen to her? Her life couldn't get lower or less promising as a prostitute in her city. Strangers from the desert treated her like a human being, not just an object to be used. Rahab said to them, "Please swear to me by this invisible God that as I dealt kindly with you, that you will deal kindly with me and my family. Give me a sign that you will not allow us to be killed when you take the city." What she didn't know was that this decision for this God changed everything. The spies promised their lives to protect Rahab. As long as she had not betrayed them to her city officials and kept her family in her home, they would not allow any harm to come to them during the battle. She had made her choice. They told her to tie the scarlet cord to the window as a sign that her household was not to be harmed. They used a flax rope to lower themselves down the wall to the outside of the city. Rahab warned her family about the destruction to come. She begged them to come to her house, but they mocked her. They didn't want to be seen coming to her house. She was without honor. Rahab waited to see what would happen. Word came about the tribe crossing the flooded river and God drying up the water long enough for them to cross. The city was again locked up. The townspeople and the fighting men melted with fear. Tension built. No one was allowed in or out. Still, days passed and the tribe did not come. One early morning, Rahab heard a strange sound. Trumpets. She looked out and saw the foreigners circle the city. Was today the day? Her heart missed a beat. In spite of their skepticism, her family came to see what was happening. But they lost interest and left when the tribe returned to their encampment. For 5 more days, Rahab watched as the strange tribe of people marched once around the city. But other than making noise with trumpets, the tribe did nothing. This did not seem like a battle at all. The city grew quiet. The people were scared. The seventh day started the same. But then the tribe walked around the city again, and then again. Today was the day. She had risked her life and everything she knew for this God. Would he rescue her or destroy her? It didn't matter. She would serve him. She could feel that he was real. Rahab's family came in a panic to watch what would happen from her place in the city wall. The invading tribe didn't appear to have any weapons that would come against the walls. Somehow Rahab's new God would make a way. Suddenly, all the invaders began to shout in triumph as if the battle was already over. The house began to shake. The dust and the smoke began to clear, and the sounds of a battle raging met their ears. Rahab guarded her family and insisted they stay in the house. Somehow it would be the only safe place. She had to hold on to this promise and hold them to it. As things quieted, Rahab heard the voice of one of the spies at the door. He came to make good on the promise and help them to safety. God had liberated her not just physically from a battle, but spiritually from darkness. God chose Rahab to be part of a great family line within her new community. Despite her past, and maybe because of her risk-taking faith, God honored Rahab. She, unlike her family, took up new life with the rescuers. She is one of only 5 women mentioned in the ancestry of Jesus Christ. It was controversial to name a woman in a genealogy, and the women mentioned in Jesus' ancestry were all outcast. They had failed by human standards and still found a place in the plan of God. Jesus Christ became the outcast of the world to change our souls and to take our shame. All the women mentioned in Jesus' ancestry, including Rahab, proved to the world that God is not interested in what you are, but what you become when you encounter the knowledge of a God who is real, living, and who revealed himself in Jesus Christ. In the words of the Apostle Peter, "For you know that it was not with perishable things such as silver or gold that you were redeemed from the empty way of life handed down to you from your ancestors, but with the precious blood of Christ, a lamb without blemish or defect."